Let's get ready for the NBA Finals. We're going to do some old school radio stuff here where a guy just asks the other guy questions. And so Ceruti's going to ask those questions. We've put together a ton. He's terrific at this. So get started. Let's go.
All right. I think this was my first ever radio segment, by the way. It was like Ceruti's 10 NBA questions. That was my first ever on-air thing on SVP and Russillo back in the day. So it's harkening back to the good old days. Let's go.
Yeah, maybe you've improved.
I would hope so. I would hope so. All right. And here we go. Number one.
All right.
Which team has a better chance to get back sooner?
Okay, let's just do a little PSA. Yes, we realize the finals haven't started yet. We're already doing a recap of who would get back. We understand how absurd that is.
This is evergreen content.
Right. Look, hey, man, welcome to July Radio. I love this question because I think it's actually really hard, okay? Because you can do two different things here. And I'll start with the one that maybe, I don't know if it means less or more, but we can look at the conferences, right? So it's not just who the team is, you look at the rest of the conference. Because if you look at the East, there's still a lot of competitive depth there. And it's not like Boston won 60 plus games, and you go, oh, well, this team's going to be in this 2 or 3 year window, which they may be in year 3 of a longer window here by playing the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago than having all their disappointment and whatever. So is Miami going to be better next year? I think that would be unlikely. But again, this is all based on offseason stuff that we can't predict. Milwaukee's going to be really good. There's no question about that. They would most likely have Middleton. I'm not going to start predicting injuries a year from now in the playoffs. The Sixers, even though, it's a little messy right now, trying to figure out exactly who they're going to be. Full season of Harden, maybe it's a little bit better. Toronto's sneaky going to be better. I just think they will be better because I like their young guys so much. So I think that's 5 teams there with Boston that are kind of in that group. And the second tier of teams, and look, Brooklyn can't be this bad. There's a version of Brooklyn where things come together and they win a bunch of regular season games and they're a real threat a year from now. I don't think that's some ridiculous leap to project that out. Chicago could be better. Atlanta could be better. And I think Cleveland's building something too. So there's a lot of depth there through the East. If we look at the West, Phoenix is still going to be good. Memphis will probably have like another year under their belt, feeling like they left something on the table with Ja being out. Dallas is still going to be good. Utah won 49 games. I don't know what the team is going to look like. Denver, you would likely have Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back. So that's a team that you're worried about. And then Minnesota, New Orleans should be on the rise. I still don't know what to do with the Clippers. The safe assumption is they're better than a 42-40 team because they're getting their guys back. But that's a lot of, hey, everybody's going to be back and everybody's going to be healthy. And that's not necessarily the case. So other than looking at the conference depth, which I think is debatable on both sides of how hard it would be, let's look at the teams themselves. Is there another ceiling beyond this for Tatum? If Tatum wins an NBA championship, he's going to be talked about like as a new ceiling guy. And that's totally going to be warranted because if that's what he does, now we talk about Tatum in a different way, which also leads to more scrutiny when you start flirting with that top 5 area, which is totally fair and will be, I think, justified at that point. The reason I say Warriors is that I think the Warriors' possible depth around their current stars, even though an unknown, gives them a better chance of like having a really special team. If Kuminga takes a leap, if they get anything from Wiseman, Poole's continued growth. Like there's a lot of stuff there with Golden State. You're like, well, what if all of these good things happen with them? Where I think the Celtics team is pretty close to who they would be. Unless somebody like, how much better would Smart be? How much better would Brown be? How much better would Grant? Like, is Grant Williams all of a sudden become a guy who's making like 3 or 4 all-star teams? I think Grant's been awesome. His story is awesome. But I think there's still more like untapped potential with who Golden State could be because of some of the young guys on the roster than Boston. So I'll say Golden State. Really long answer, but we got there.
No, I'm on kind of on the same page. I think the key word though is sooner. Like I think Boston gets back to another finals with Tatum and Brown at least at the center piece of this group. But I think Golden State has a better chance to get back there next season, just because of everything that you said. And also, next year, I think Milwaukee's still probably the best team in the East. Like, I don't know if that's a crazy thing to say. I think I would presently constitute if everybody brings everybody back and they're pretty much similar. I mean, everybody can improve around the margins, but I think Milwaukee's still slightly better. Now, if Boston made it to the finals next year, I wouldn't be surprised, but I still would probably pick Milwaukee in that situation. But beyond that, I guess, Philly, it's mostly just a Bucks thing. Like, I'm more afraid of the Bucks in the East than I am of any other team in the West. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if Ayton's going to be gone, yeah, the Suns are going to be good next year, but I don't know what exactly they're going to look like. Am I ready to say Memphis is going to be a finals team next year? I'd still probably take the Warriors another year out there. And then when you go beyond that, like, it depends. I mean, Dallas certainly adds another piece. Maybe anything's possible with Luka, but like, I kind of feel like, they overexceeded their expectations already this season. So it's really just the Milwaukee thing for me. Like, I'm more afraid of Milwaukee than any other team in either conference, and that's why I'd probably pick the Warriors.
Totally fair to suggest that you're going into next year thinking the Bucks are the team to beat in the East, even if the NBA title's won by the Celtics. I don't think that's going to be a ridiculous thing to say. All right, next one.
Next one. Here we go. All right, most important player in the series not named Steph or Tatum. Who is it?
It's Clay.
Wow.
Yeah. Because if you get what are we going to do with this guy Clay two games out of this series, that tilts things. And the way Clay closed the Western Conference Finals, the way he closed the second round, those are big spots for him to go off, and especially in the elimination game against Dallas. So that's what you're always kind of looking at here with Golden State. Like, what kind of Clay are you getting? Because I still think you kind of know what you're getting day to day with Brown. He's going to get you buckets. There's going to be some nights where it doesn't go as well. Brown might be the other answer, late game. Hey, get them something going offensively when everybody sells out to defend Tatum. So I wouldn't say somebody's crazy for saying it's Jaylen Brown, but I think there's a version of Clay where that tilts the series, but we just don't know how often we're going to get it.
Wow. That's so I was kind of kicking around Jaylen. I feel like Jaylen's the easy answer though, but I agree with you. I think you kind of know what you're getting with him game in, game out. I mean, his peaks and valleys aren't insane. Like, some games are better than others, but for the most part, I know what I'm getting there, and especially on the defensive end. I went with Marcus Smart. Call me crazy, but like, go ahead.
Wait, as the third most important player in the series?
Not the best play. Like, I'm not saying
no,
I
know
that.
Best, I know.
But I think if Marcus Smart, like, if he knocks down shots in a couple of these games and can help them steal a couple games, maybe in Golden State, and he plays the defense he's capable against a lot of those perimeter players, like, I think the Celtics win that. Like, I would probably pick Golden State, but if Marcus Smart does that, I could see the Celtics winning the series. Like, I think he is kind of the X factor in this. If he makes shots, I guess you could say the same thing about like a lot of their fringe guys, like Derek White. If he's good defensively and knocks down some shots, the Celtics have a chance. But I think Marcus Smart is actually the guy where if he's hitting those, if they leave him open, like Miami kind of did in Game 7, and he's knocking down some of those shots and becomes an actual threat, I think Boston wins the series.
Yeah, and the Derek White thing's become popular. Like, he could swing. He's just not going to. You don't get enough opportunities if you're Derek White to swing an entire series.
Yeah.
So hit a couple late threes. Hey, you won that game. But Smart has far more opportunities to impact this series, not only with the shots, but also what he's going to do against Steph. And I still think, as annoying as it is to defend Steph, he just has to feel so much better about the physical matchup than Butler just taking him down low. And that got kind of weird. And I think it leads in well to the next question too, defensively for Boston.
All right, who do you trust more, the Warriors offense or the Celtics defense?
If Rob Williams were 100% healthy, which I don't think any of us think that's possible, I'd say the Celtics defense. But since it's not, there's uncertainty around that. And I don't know what Boston's going to do. I think sometimes they're going to look big and sometimes they're going to look small. We're going to see how it works night to night, because I don't think it's a constant pattern of substitutions where these are only the 7 guys that we're playing and we're always doing it this way, and we'll just see what happens. I think Ime has shown that he's very flexible, which I love about him as a coach. So if Williams were healthy, I'd pick the defense, but instead I'm going to go Warriors offense.
This might be the hardest question. I went Warriors offense too, just because I think if they get hot in one quarter, they could steal a game. Whereas like if Boston's defense slips for one quarter, that'll cost them a game, and vice versa. So like I think Boston's defense at its peak is probably, even saying that out loud is kind of weird. I think Boston's defense is better than Golden State's offense, but all it takes is Golden State for one hot quarter and they can steal a game, and that's the difference in a series. So I'm going to go with Golden State's offense.
Yeah, maybe this version of Golden State's offense, which I still think some people are having a hard time with, because it's like, it's still not what, I don't care what the per 100s are. It's not as horrifying. I mean, we're talking about Kevin Durant. Yeah, Kevin Durant is not on the basketball team, and Clay is coming off of 2 years not playing. So it's not even worth talking about. We already spent too much time on it. Go ahead.
What's the bigger deal? Jayson Tatum winning his first title or Steph Curry winning his first Finals MVP?
Worst question of the entire rundown.
It's a bit of a troll question, but like also engagement. People are going to love this one.
Yeah, a lot of engagement on this one. But Steph already has a Finals MVP, the Western Conference Finals MVP. He just won it, so we don't even need to bring this up anymore.
The only Magic Johnson Trophy Award winner, by the way. Who else? Nobody else even has it. So
he's the only guy who's ever won it.
So what's up?
No one else can say that. What if he wins it next year unanimously, back-to-back Western Conference Finals MVP? If you don't like Steph, you love that he hasn't won a Finals MVP argument. And he should have won it in 2015. It was ridiculous that Iguodala won it. So Tatum, and by the way, even without all that dumb, stupid social media backstory to Steph not having a Finals MVP, even though Steph makes the offense go all of those years, Tatum winning an NBA Finals changes way more of the conversation around Tatum than it would be for Steph, who already is like sneaking into some rare air for all-time greats. So moving on.
Tatum winning a title. Like anytime you join that club, your entire career is different. Ask Charles Barkley. I think the Steph Finals MVP thing is honestly just like
you get some Chris Paul jokes lined up too. What the fuck?
Sorry. Yeah. Hey, sorry. Honestly, that's probably a better one because Barkley still is Barkley, but it is what it is. But like Tatum joins that club and his career is different from here on out, and that's the way it is. Like Steph's career is already different. I think the Finals MVP thing is just like a troll talking point. Like it's not actually a serious basketball conversation that people are having. As you, I think, pointed out, like a lot of the people retroactively said they probably should have voted for Steph, and they just got caught up in the Iguodala moment in that series. I kind of think it's ridiculous that we even put that much stock into this like weird award. Like Bill and I were arguing after the pod. After Game 7, not really arguing, but Tim Bontemps voted for Jimmy Butler to win MVP, to win the Larry Bird Trophy, right, in the Eastern Conference. And I actually agreed with him, and Bill was like, "No, you should never be able to win the award on a losing team." It's all kind of subjective. Like it's just that's the way it is, and like we get caught up in the moment and storylines. Steph was the reason that the Warriors won that finals. Like I'm sorry, it is what it is. He's the best part of the team. If he's not there, they're not in the finals. So like the fact that he didn't win that award to me doesn't make any sense. It's mostly just like a Twitter and talk show troll talking point. So it's definitely Tatum winning.
All right. So we're in agreement on that. On the Bontemps vote for Butler, I'm not against the possibility of someone on the losing side having such an amazing series and then maybe not having one guy from the winning team to go ahead and pick. So I'm not I'm not philosophically opposed to ever voting for somebody on the losing side. I would be for Butler, who was terrible for 3 games.
Yeah.
So I mean, hurt or not, you can't play as poorly as Butler did in 3 of the 7 games and then also be like, you know what, because of what he did in 1, 6, and 7, he's going to win Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I'm sorry, you'd have to do that every single game and lose for me to vote for it.
That's fair. But I the principle alone, like I think someone on the losing team should, in the right circumstance, be able to win that award. So anyway, it just tells you how much this award actually doesn't really matter.